I want you to think about something tonight that you have probably only thought about alone in the dark, without ever saying it to another living soul. You should not be here. By the odds, by the averages, by everything that has happened in your life, you should not still be here. Think about what you have survived. The illness that took others and passed over you. The accident that could have gone another way, that went another way for someone else you knew. The years of grief that you were certain at the time would kill you and did not. The loneliness that has taken stronger people. Maybe war, maybe poverty, maybe a season so dark you have never told anyone how close it came. And you survived all of it. And here is the part you do not say out loud. You have wondered why, especially when you outlived people who deserved more time. The friend who was healthier than you, the sibling who was stronger, maybe the spouse who was better than you. That is how you would say it, and you have stood at their grave doing arithmetic that never comes out right. Why them? Why not me? Why am I still here? And behind that question, in the quietest hour, an even harder one, is there a reason, or am I just left over? Tonight, I am going to answer that question the way my people answered it for 1,000 years. And I will tell you now, before anything else, the answer is not comfortable. It is better than comfortable. It is true. You are not left over. You are not forgotten. You are not the one death overlooked. You are still here on assignment, and by the end of this teaching, you are going to know what the assignment is. Let me start with the arithmetic that never comes out right. The why them and not me. Because until we deal with that, you cannot hear anything else. I have sat with many people carrying that question. The man who survived the war when the whole rest of his unit did not. The woman who beat the disease that took her sister in the same year. The same disease, the same hospital. And I watched what the question does to people when they get the answer wrong. Because there is a wrong answer, and most people choose it. The wrong answer is that survival is a judgment, that living means you were chosen, and dying means they were not. People take that answer and it poisons them, because they knew the ones who went, and the ones who went were good, were strong, were needed. So if survival is a reward, the rewards make no sense. And either the universe is cruel or it is random. And both of those answers turn the remaining years to ash. Now hear the old understanding. My grandmother said, "The ones who go early and the ones who stay late are not being graded. They are being deployed. Every life has a shape," she said, "and some shapes are complete at 30, and I know that is hard to hear, and some shapes require 90 years to finish. A song is not better because it is longer. Some songs say everything they came to say in 2 minutes, and the song is whole. You did not outlive your people because you were worth more, and you did not outlive them because the world made an error. You are still here because your song is not finished. There is a verse left that only your voice can sing. That is the whole teaching right there, and the rest of tonight is me showing you what that verse is. I want to tell you about the man who carried the heaviest version of this question I have ever encountered. Because if the answer worked for him, it will work for you. He was a veteran, and I will not tell you which war because it does not matter. The arithmetic is the same in all of them. His unit was hit, and out of the men he called brothers, he was one of 2 who came home. And for 50 years, that man carried the question like shrapnel that was never removed. Why me? He was not the strongest of them. He would tell you that immediately. Not the bravest, not the smartest, not the best. There was a man in that unit, he told me, who was better than all of us put together. Better soldier, better man, 22 years old, a fiancé at home, a whole shining life waiting. Gone. And me, he said, me they left standing. And for 50 years, do you know how that man lived? He lived like a man apologizing for existing. He kept his life small, deliberately, because enjoying it felt like theft. He would not take the good job. He almost did not marry the woman he loved. Every good thing that came to him, he received it like a stolen good, guilty, waiting for it to be reclaimed, because he had gotten the arithmetic wrong in exactly the way I described. He decided his survival was an accounting error, and he spent 5 decades trying to stay too small to be noticed by the accountant. And then, in his 70s, at a gathering of families of the fallen, something happened. The granddaughter of that 22-year-old soldier, a young woman who had never met her grandfather, came to him, and she asked him to tell her everything he remembered. And he did. Hours. The jokes the young man told. The way he read his letters from home out loud. What he said the night before the end. And this old veteran told me that somewhere in those hours, watching this young woman receive her grandfather from his hands, receive a man she could never have known any other way, he understood for the first time why he came home. 50 years of asking why me, and the answer had been so simple it took his breath. Because somebody had to carry them. Somebody had to remember. Somebody had to be the place where those men were still alive, still laughing, still 22, until the ones who needed them could come and collect. He was not the leftover. He was the library, and he had spent 50 years ashamed of surviving when surviving was the assignment all along. Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I am not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere. So I sat down and I wrote it. All of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received. The ones about the assignment that comes with surviving. The ones about what the last verse of a life is for. The ones I have never said on camera. It is called the native way, and it costs less than one dinner you will not remember. Or look in the comments, but do not leave yet. Because I am about to tell you the 3 reasons the old people said a person is kept here, and I want you to listen for which one is yours. Here is the first reason a person is still here. Someone is still coming who will need you. This is the one nobody considers because we look backward for our purpose, at the roles we already finished, and the old people always looked forward. Let me tell you how I know this one is real. My own grandmother, the one I quote to you in nearly every teaching, was 74 years old when I truly began listening to her. 74. Think about that. Everything she gave me, everything I now give you, every teaching that has reached millions of people through this old man's voice, all of it was transmitted after her 74th year. If her shape had been complete at 73, if she had decided in her quiet house that she was left over, that her work was done, that nobody needed an old woman anymore, none of this would exist. The person she was kept alive for had already been born and was walking around and did not know yet that he needed her. And she did not know it either. She just stayed ready. And I am telling you with all the weight I have, there is someone in your story like that. Someone already alive, maybe already known to you, maybe not yet arrived, who is going to need exactly what only you can give. The grandchild who will hit the wall at 25 and need one conversation with someone who hit the same wall and lived. The neighbor not yet moved in. The person who will sit next to you somewhere ordinary and be drowning quietly. And you will be the only one who recognizes it because you drowned once too. You cannot see them from here. She could not see me. Stay ready anyway. The appointment is already made. Only the date is hidden. The second reason a person is kept here is that you are carrying something that has not been delivered yet. Every person who has lived 70 years is carrying cargo, lessons that cost you decades, truths you paid for with your worst seasons, the thing you finally understood about forgiveness, about pride, about what actually matters, about how to survive a grief. That understanding did not come cheap. You paid for it with years of your life. And in the old way, Wisdom paid for and not passed on is cargo that never reached its destination. My people believed a person could not rest easy in this life or after it while still holding undelivered cargo. And I want you to notice something about your own life. Notice the restlessness, that low hum in you, the feeling that there is something you are supposed to be doing, even in retirement, even when every task is done and every duty is met. Everyone your age feels it, and almost nobody can name it. I will name it. It is the cargo shifting. It is everything you learned pressing against the walls of your silence, asking to be handed off before the wagon stops. That is why doing nothing feels so terrible to you. Not because you are restless by nature, because you are loaded. A loaded wagon is not supposed to park. So, deliver. Tell the stories and not just the entertaining ones, the true ones, the ones with the cost still visible on them. Write things down badly. It does not matter. Your grandchildren will not grade the spelling. They will hold the pages. Teach anyone who will sit still long enough. Every delivery lightens the load. And here is the thing I have watched happen over and over. The elders who deliver their cargo do not decline the way the silent ones do. Something in them stays lit, because the body listens to the spirit, and the spirit with work left keeps the lights on. I watched a woman discover her cargo at 81 years old, and she would have told you she had nothing to deliver. An ordinary life, she called it. Raised children, kept a house, buried a husband. Nothing anyone would want to hear about. And then her granddaughter, going through a hard divorce, came to stay with her for a month. And in the evenings, because there was nothing else to do, the old woman started talking, and she told her granddaughter about the year the money ran out, the one she had never told anyone about, and how she and her husband nearly broke, and the things she learned about what holds two people together when everything else is gone. And she told her about her own mother's hard hands and where the hardness came from. Clear's throat. And she told her the things she wished someone had told her at 35, which she had carried for 46 years, with no one to give it to. And the granddaughter, this modern young woman with the phone and the career, sat on that old carpet night after night like a child at a fire and took every word. And when the month was over, the granddaughter said something the old woman repeated to me with tears standing in her eyes. She said, "Grandma, you saved my life this month." An ordinary life, nothing to deliver, 81 years old, and the cargo she did not believe she was carrying saved a drowning woman she loved. Your cargo is real. The fact that you cannot see it means nothing. Cargo is like that. You have been carrying it so long, it feels like your own weight. It is not weight, it is freight. And somewhere, someone's whole survival is waiting on the delivery. And the third reason, and this is the one I want you to hold closest, is that someone has to hold the door. Let me explain what I mean. In every family, in every community, there are doors that stay open only because one person holds them. You know this because you have watched doors close. When your mother died or your grandmother, didn't something close? The family gathered less. The stories stopped being told. The recipes, the songs, the names of the old ones, the sense that everyone belonged to something, it all got quieter because she was the one holding that door, and nobody understood it until her hands were gone. Look around your family now. Look, honestly. Who holds the door now? Who is the one whose house is still the gathering place? Whose phone call still connects the scattered ones? Who still remembers whose birthday it is? Who still says the names of the dead so the young ones know they came from somewhere? It is you. It has been you for years. You think of it as small, as habit, as just what you do. It is not small. You are the keystone in an arch, and the arch does not know it is held until the keystone is gone. And this is a reason to be here that requires nothing from you but being here. Even on the days you feel useless, Even the days you contribute nothing you can measure, your presence is load-bearing. There are people walking around steady today, and part of what steadies them underneath everything is one simple fact they never about. The old one is still here. The door is still open. We still come from somewhere. That is not sentiment. That is structure. And you are it. And to the ones watching who are thinking, not me. My family is scattered. Nobody gathers at my house. I hold no doors. Listen, doors are not only family doors. The waitress you speak kindly to every Tuesday, who gets one decent conversation a week, and it is yours. The young man at the hardware store who has started asking your advice about more than hardware. The people at whatever gathering you still attend who would notice immediately if your chair was empty and whose world would tilt a little, and who would say for years afterward, "It is not the same without them." You do not see the doors you hold for the same reason a keystone does not see the arch. You are inside the structure. You only feel your own weight, never your own holding. But the holding is real. I promise you the holding is real. I have watched what happens to the small worlds when the quiet old ones leave them. The coffee counters, the church pews, the street corners. And I am telling you, every person your age is holding doors they have never counted. Stand at your post. The post matters. So, let me bring this home. You asked in the dark, alone, why you were still here after everything. And the old way answers, because someone is still coming who will need you. So, stay ready. Because you are carrying cargo that has not been delivered. So, start delivering. And because you are holding doors that would close without you. So, hold them. And know that the holding counts. Notice what all three reasons have in common. Not one of them is about the past. The world will tell you that a person your age is mostly memory. Mostly what they were. The old way says the opposite. The old way says the whole reason you were carried through everything. The illness and the grief and the dark seasons and the years that should have broken you is standing in front of you, not behind you. You were not preserved as a monument. You were preserved as a messenger. And messengers do not get to decide the message was unimportant just because the road got long. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before the aches and the quiet and the old question have a chance to speak first, I want you to say 4 words to yourself. Still here, on purpose. That is not positive thinking. I have no use for positive thinking. It is the plain truth of the old way, and it has held up longer than every philosophy that laughed at it. Still here, on purpose. Now, go find out what the purpose is. You have been given by my count. Exactly enough time. And one last thing. For the ones this teaching found on a hard night. I know some of you did not click on this video out of curiosity. Some of you clicked because the question has gotten heavy, clears throat lately. Because the quiet house and the long evenings have been asking you, more insistently than before, what the point of view is. I want you to hear an old man say this directly. The fact that you are still asking the question is itself the evidence. A person with no verse left does not lie awake wondering about their verse. The wondering is the verse stirring. Dead seeds do not ache. Only living ones ache, and they ache in exactly one direction, toward the surface. So, take the ache seriously, but take it as what it is, not a verdict, a green shoot. Everything I taught tonight, the one still coming, the undelivered cargo, the doors you hold, all of it is already in motion in your life, whether you believe me yet or not. My grandmother did not believe it at 73 either, and her greatest work had not yet begun. The road that carried you through everything did not carry you all this way to nowhere. Roads like that do not exist. I have walked this earth for 70 years, and I have never once seen one. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there. The Native Way. 20 teachings, 100 pages. written the way I would speak to you if we were sitting together, with your phone, or find the link in the comments. Read one chapter, sit with it. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what have you survived, and who do you think you might still be here for? I read every comment, and if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.